It was the 1980s in a blue-collar neighborhood in Dallas, Texas. The type of neighborhood where the kids ran free and were full of laughter and everyone was happy. It was a time of just great hope and excitement as a little kid. I can remember the neighborhood even smelled good. Mr. Porter's magnolia tree next door and Susie's mimosa tree across the street, when they bloomed, it made the whole neighborhood smell so good I can still remember it to this day. One day after coming in from playing outside all day, I was running a bath, and I'll never forget looking at the bath water running and being thankful for having such a wonderful family. It was my mom and dad and then my little sister. Everything was great, life was good. A few short years later, I was sitting in a living room at a new house in a neighborhood that was a little nicer and we really couldn't afford, but we had this new house and I was sitting there in a living room, but things were different. The mood was different. My little sister and I were listening to my mom and dad tell us that they were getting a divorce and that things were going to change and my mom was moving out. I know a lot of people go through divorce, but it hit me extra hard. I felt like my world was crumbling. I had this wonderful family unit that just was dissolving in front of my eyes. I started acting out, almost immediately. I had very high grades before that. They fell off the cliff. I even ran away from home, was arrested a few times as a teenager. Just, turned into, a pretty rotten acting kid. A few years later, I got my girlfriend pregnant. And so at 16 years old, I left home and became a father. I had a new start with a new family. I finally had a family again. I dropped out of high school and went to work for the union. My wife and I just never were good for each other. We were unfaithful to each other and it just wasn't a good marriage. So by the time I was 21, I was divorced. At that point, everything just felt like it was really falling apart. I thought I had this second chance to having a stable family and it failed miserably. And so I was left feeling real hopeless and depressed. And then shortly after that, I tried hard drugs for the first time. Although I'd kind of self-medicated with marijuana since I was 13, I was always scared to do hard drugs. But I wasn't scared anymore. Wasn't scared of them anymore. Tried cocaine, really liked it, did a lot of it. And then one night I overdosed on cocaine. I was admitted into the hospital. I was hooked up, to EKG, heart monitors, laid there with an IV for several hours. They discharged me, and within hours of being discharged, I started doing more cocaine. Not long after that, I overdosed again one night, and this time when I was discharged from the hospital, I went straight to my girlfriend's house. And it was still dark at the time, I'll never forget. It was still dark in the cool hours of the morning, and I went and knocked on her window, and she let me in. And I handed her a pretty big bag of cocaine and I said, please take this from me and destroy it. I said, it's gonna kill me. I've got to get away from this. So we poured the cocaine into a pint glass and filled it up with water and dumped it down the toilet. For 3 days after that, her parents allowed me to stay at the house and I just laid under the covers struggling with my addiction, fighting the withdrawals, just fighting not to get up and go find more cocaine. I felt like I needed to just get through this. I did. I got through the addiction part. I beat my cocaine addiction with the help of my girlfriend at the time. Not long after that, we got married and started a family, and everything was pretty good. I still struggled with a lot of depression and anxiety, and I'm very thankful that she was there with me. She didn't really understand because she's very level-headed and just very even keel. So she didn't understand me at first, and she would kind of coach me up. Hey, look at all this stuff you've got going for you. And I told her, I don't know why I feel like this, I just feel like this. But she was very understanding and was always there for me. And so over the years, I struggled a lot with depression and anxiety. Things got a little better, and then I became a business manager at my local union. And so now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I can use some of my past struggles to help people. And I'm also at a point in my life where I have the power to do something about it. As business manager, I have full control over building out our mental health program locally. I've got a good partner back at the hall that helps me do that. And we're just trying to help some people. I do still struggle. We've hired an EAP, and I've recently started to use the EAP. I've gone to 2 therapy visits so far, and I feel it's helping. And I want to tell my story in case there's anybody that's gone through what I've gone through. Even though there's so much more worse stories out there than I do, we all hurt. We all hurt. We can all use a little help, and so I hope I inspire someone to get that help. And if there's one thing that I would like to tell other leaders that are in a position where they can do something to help people in their organization, please consider getting training. Please consider developing a peer ally program, because I have a built-in peer ally with my wife. I don't know where I would be if I didn't have her and somebody to turn to. Everyone needs somebody to turn to. So if you're a leader and you have the power to do that, please implement a peer ally program.